Elio guys, and welcome back here to another episode of Infinite Magicraid. I'm definitely excited that you guys are enjoying the game so far, and hopefully I can continue helping you guys along the journey. Now in today's video, we're going to be focusing on Soli, who was left in the comments of the previous video with Jennifer, and you guys have indicated to me on the community tab, at least for today, that you want to see more character reviews and not so much the recap. Well, now that's not going to say that I won't do the recap, but especially as you progress through Infinite Magicraid, in terms of the campaign and stuff of that nature, it does slow down a little bit here, but let me stop talking about that. But anyways, we have Soli here. He is a hunk of a man. Dude is short as, I'm not going to say the word, but he is indeed a short boy. But let's take a look at his skills. Now, you guys know how to read, so I'm not going to focus too much on this. But what his basic attack does is, if you have allies under ally protection, which is part of his kit here, they also get granted a shield, if I'm understanding that correctly, by 5% of his maximum HP for 2 turns. So even though he's doing defense damage, his main selling point with his basic attack is making sure that shield goes up on your squad. So we already have one of the skills broken down. The second skill right here is called United Front. He ends up dealing 2 stages of 60% defense damage to a single enemy with a 60% chance to reduce their defense by 30%. And then it says also afterwards, the allies granted ally protection by Soli pursue and attack this target 1 time. So we're already seeing massive synergy in between these 2 moves alone, to where he's already not really doing that much damage, but he's enabling your other party members to do damage. So when it comes to emblems, and especially gear and artifacts that you guys might have questions on, by reading their kit, you kind of understand, okay, so far this unit in particular is focused on, party support, so it wouldn't make sense for me to give him attack or an extravagant amount of defense or HP unless his moves are based off of that. But moving on to his passive here, he grants ally protection to the ally with the highest attack at the beginning of each wave, and he also reduces their incoming damage. And this goes up if you scroll him up, or book him up, shall I say. And he also can share some of that damage. So he's mitigating damage from another unit. That's pretty much the gist of this move. And now for his ultimate, he inflicts chain on a single enemy. So if you guys are ever curious to see how his skill works, just come over here, click on it, and it will definitely explain what it does here. Then it also says that there's a 50% chance to inflict provoke on all enemies. Meanwhile, he also enters commander status, and he's immune to control effects, and he deals 300% defense damage to targets with the chain after taking direct damage 5 times. So I think of this move more so as kind of like a great value version of counterattack. I mean, it's not the great value version because it's different, but think of it to where if he gets hit X amount of times with that provoke, which synergizes with this move quite well, then he's basically going to be doing some damage. And then there's also a chance that he can stun whoever that hits him as well. So with this kit already out the way, my basic understanding of this character is he helps support his allies, so I need to make sure that he survives, and he's going to be taking a lot of damage, so he already needs some defensive stats. So that's going to help us pick out some gear for him, so let's go ahead and head over there. So we're over here at the forge, and once again, remember, Soli's job is to stay alive. He supports the squad, and he does push out some damage, but I wouldn't really rely on it whatsoever here. So there's a couple of different ways you could probably build him. In my opinion, the tough set definitely sounds appealing, because that's going to help boost up his resistance via crits, and if he's provoking and getting hit by all of the freaking units in the game all at once, you want to make sure that even if they crit on him, that damage is lowered. And then the same thing goes for effect resistance, to where if someone's trying to like debuff him or control him, you want him to resist that as well, so he can continue helping the squad out. And then the additional HP is always lovely. There is also the night set here, which is more offensive based, and we don't really want that with Soli because there's not much to his kit that would make any sense as to why he should be DPS orientated when he's obviously a tank. Then there's also the Guardian set here with the defense rate up and also the effect resist. This isn't bad either, but I do feel like the tough set gives you more bang for your buck, if that makes any sense. And then there's also the hardening set too. This one's fair because you do have that tenacity decrease, so I could definitely see this being paired up with like the tough set, to where he's getting a lot less crit damage applied to him, but he's also getting the meat from his HP and also the meat from his defense to get like a equal distribution of his stats. So next up, I am going to do what I've said before in the previous video. I'll basically link up here like the emblem trees of what I would do for Soli. And I didn't indicate in the last video, but anything with the red mark is what I personally would recommend. You can build him any way that you want, and anything in a yellow mark is totally optional. If there's no mark on the emblem at all, that means basically just act like it doesn't exist. So I'll go ahead and throw that up on the video right here, and he should definitely be part of the defense and the support tree because he's not there for damage, and his damage scales off of his defense damage anyways, so we're just not going to go there. And then in terms of his artifacts too, right before we kind of showcase what he can do here, I would definitely consider something like HP, you want defense, and either speed or probably effect resistance. You can also add in more meaty stats in there if you want to, but the main purpose of Soli is to make sure that he can act as soon as possible, just so you can go in and get that provoke up via his ultimate right here and get the chain going on too. Because with that up, he's going to be soaking up the damage from your entire squad and help, you know, mitigating aggression from a throw DPS like Sia or Yoko of that nature right here. But if I was starting off with him, in terms of combat, I would definitely probably start off with his second skill right here. This inflicts defense down if it does stick on the enemy, which gives your DPS a chance to go ahead and start ravaging their weakened defense. After that, I would probably slide over to his ultimate and get that procced up as well, just so you have the whole provoke status going on, and he can start hopefully dealing out some damage to them too. Because if that unit has defense down on them already, and then you hit them with the provoke and they start hitting him, that's free damage for you. And then with those two skills on the cooldown, just spam his basic attack to get his shield up to hopefully help with some damage mitigation. And that's pretty much Soli in a nutshell. So I'm definitely glad that I picked him because he's been a unit on my radar that I've wanted to check out here. And you guys also have seemed to have an interest in seeing what he does. So overall, I think he's an interesting unit. In terms of campaign, I can see him being viable because he acts in a similar nature to Wim, though he's not Wim, but he has that nature of kind of protecting his allies. I could definitely see him being very annoying in a PvP situation too, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course the Tower of Mark, we always love units like this in the Tower of Mark. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. And if there's a certain character review that you guys want to see next, just leave it in the comments below, because this is where I got Soli from, which was from the Jennifer video. So yeah, peace out.
Infinite Magicraid. Play to slay.